Aha! This is the port! And it is so nice to have you here. Guys, the production quality on these videos are ridiculously high now. These are the paints you need. I primed the miniatures using Vallejo's Grey Primer. The first base coat will be Blood Angel's Red. See, contrast paint flows into crevices like any wash does, but we are painting a living and breathing fire. Or something like that. Of course, we need some contrast in our fire, but it will be a different process than the regular recess shading. You see, fire doesn't have any recesses because it's just a pure element in nature. So, what I'm trying to say is that you don't need to add too much paint to the recesses to make it darker. You can do that at the end of the flames, but not on the center of the bud. We need to figure out where is our fire's hottest point, because that will be the brightest. Oh, and another thing, guys, this fire person's leader is totally same as these little fire persons as color and highlight placement wise. So just try to follow these steps for the big guy. You know, Papa Laborc will hold your hand throughout the whole process, and don't let anybody to slap on your hand but me. The first highlight for our fire is Wild Rider Red, warm orangey red color. The hottest part for the fire will be the chest area, because there would be its little heart pumping hellfire throughout its flaming body, so this thing can live a long and happy life while setting everything on fire on its way. I guess that would make these fire persons happy, like a free-range chicken, you know. So try to cover its body and leave the end of the flames red. The fun part about this, that you can have paint run into the recesses. No slapping on your tiny hand this time, because we don't need shadow. But don't be disappointed, there will be plenty of chance to injure your tiny hand by Papa Laborc throughout the video. For easier blending, you can use a heavy glaze consistency with 2 coats, and the colors will blend nicely like Granny's big grease pudding. Okay, so build up the heat and the contrast with Fire Dragon Bright. Apply it around the face and the chest part, and use it a bit less toward the limbs. Also add some into the crevices of his wrist guards. You can use a light base layer consistency as well to blend it in one step. These guys take some time to paint, but try to cut corners with a little bit diluted paint, so we don't have to glaze. This won't be very smooth, but it will look nice because the colors are close to each other in value. For our brightest highlight, use some lovely ice yellow. If you don't have ice yellow, you can try Dawn Yellow from the Citadel range. But the texture of that paint is dog poo-poo, so you basically only use it when you run out of ice yellow. And if you are low on ice yellow, then buy 2 other bottles, so you won't need Dawn Yellow in the first place. Okay? Great. We are creating the focal point on the chest and the head with this color. It's the same consistency than the paints we used before. Heavy glaze. Build it up patiently, so you don't need extra glazing after this step. Another thing, these minis have some tiny holes over their bodies. So try to fix them with a thick layer of paint because they look silly and dark on bright areas. So, is it going nicely? Everything is good? Then please like the video and subscribe to Papa Laborc's channel. Thank you. Okay, I thought some yellow would be nice for the... Try to apply it where the ice yellow part meets the orange parts, if that makes sense. This way our flames will look more saturated. You can use a heavy glaze consistency as well, because yellow usually doesn't cover really well, but it will on ice yellow and on the orange parts. Now our mini looks like a hot mess. Get it? Because it's a fire demon. Okay, so we need to separate the armor parts from the flames. This is the point where your tiny hands can be in real trouble, because if you stain the flames with black, then these fire guys won't be the ones who feel a burning sensation. You will feel it too, on your tiny hands, because I will slap on them. So use base layer consistency and shape your brush so sharp you can poke Granny's eyeball with it, and be precise. We are more than halfway through. Oh yeah, and a quick note, this will be a black NMM. If you don't feel the burning desire in you to paint this 7 more times, see, burning desire. I mean, I'm on fire today, okay? See? Again. So as I said, if you don't want to batch paint NMM, that's perfectly fine. Just use like gunmetal and 2 coats of Nuln oil, so you will be done in no time. But I thought you want to achieve the Papa title, and if you want to achieve it, then you do the NMM 7 times more. Don't worry, we will do it in a few steps and it will look nice. Okay, so the first highlight for the NMM is Storm Vermin Fur. 1 coat for the metal highlights. It has great coverage over black, so you can do that easily with 1 coat. Cover around 40-50% of the metal surfaces with this color, so we will leave the half of it black, so it will read as black. If you have any trouble painting black, just leave the half of the desired surface black and use the other half for highlights. Depending on how reflective you want your metal to be, use the non-black half and divide the highlight areas, and don't touch the pure black part, unless you want some hue on the black like a deep red color. Okay, so how many times did I say black? Black. 10. A blending with some glazing. It will blend easily on the armor, and on the weapons, not so much, but that's only because of the sword is flat. So you need like 2 layers more, but it's fast and simple. So glaze on and blaze on. Add some sunny skin tone to the Storm Vermin fur and gradually decrease the highlight areas. You will be fine with a heavy glaze consistency, and you can add some secondary reflections to some parts if you feel like it with this color. We will glaze it a bit more, but you don't need to be silky smooth like Granny's butt cheek. Do not sink your time into glazing the NMM too much. Remember, you need to do this 6 more times. If you want to be fast and do all these minis in an afternoon, then choose the TMM method. I mentioned it before because that can be done in an afternoon. This is not. Just do 1 figure a day. No way, Papa Laborc! I bought all the minis for this game, so it will take like forever to do this. If I only do 1 mini a day. Yes, you will finish this. If you follow Papa Laborc's 1 simple trick that is available on my Patreon. No, just kidding. No. JK. But there is only 1 trick to it. Do a mini 1 at a time. But you can also support Papa Laborc on Patreon. That's also very nice of you if you do that. But this is just an advice. Obviously, some of you already painted this game, okay? But keep on painting it. Okay, so enough of that. And glaze some to blend in our new layer. Just 1 or 2 coat maximum. If you need a 3rd coat, your glaze is too diluted. Or you want it super smooth, it's up to you. For the last highlight, add some more sunny skin tone to the mixture. Try to edge highlight here and there, especially the swords. We used sunny skin tone to increase the contrast because it's a nice orange tone, so it's almost like an OSL effect on our armor. Of course, it's not a good OSL because I highlighted with the same approach as if the light would come above, but obviously the light would come from the flames. But the box art had a kind of similar approach, and if any one of you have a PhD in lightology, then I'm up for a debate. But basically my approach is right for these highlights because these minis belong in a fantasy setting. So here's my logical argument to the highlight placements. Are you ready for it? It's magic. When you are done, Glaze some more over our last highlight. I think one coat is fine, but if you can't stop glazing, I don't blame you. And guys, these flamey boys are done. They took like 50 minutes to paint, so kind of a speed paint maybe, but not really. So thank you for joining me in this little painting adventure. If you want to vote on the next mini that Papa Laborc should paint and make a video about it, you can do that on Patreon with early access to videos and other rewards as well. Also, a huge thanks to my Patreons who choose to support this kind of videos. Special shout out to Jonathan Rhodes! Thank you very much. Now, I hope your day will be as smooth as a granny's butt cheek. Thanks for watching.